Hello everyone, my name is Amanpreet Singh Chadha and you are watching me on KGS Engineers AJ YouTube channel. So I welcome you all in this session which will be conducted in English, but the one thing that is very obvious is that the concept, be it in any language, remains the same. So either we study in Hindi or we study in English or we study in Punjabi or we study in Urdu, the definitions of the parameters remain the same. So I hope this session will definitely help you in targeting your exam and you will be able to score more marks. Yesterday we discussed a very interesting concept where I told you why we draw stress strain diagrams in place of load elongation diagrams. Today we will be solving some very interesting numericals and we will also be focusing on some concepts. So please join so that we can start. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Dear students, good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. Now has come the time when you should raise the volume of your mobile phone so that everyone in the surroundings can get this, that you are listening to the concepts in English and you lay more impression on the surrounding people. The same is happening with me right now. Everyone is like impressed that why he is teaching in English. Oh, I'm a civil engineering teacher. Yes, raise the volume. Let the entire universe know that you can understand conceptual questions in English. So, प्यारे मेरे बच्चों, we are launching the JEE Foundation Batch. We will launch this batch in the first week of June. And once you get the admission in this batch, your selection chances will drastically and exponentially increase. Good afternoon, good afternoon, good afternoon. So, प्यारे बच्चों, let's solve some question first. So what is the property of water which exists in the surface film of water tending to contract the contained volume into a form having a minimum superficial area? This is area possible. Let's see who gave the answer fastest. Good afternoon. We will be launching the book by the end of this month. Namaste. The answer is surface tension. Now I have a very interesting question for you. Let's say in a capillary tube we have added water. In a capillary tube we have added the water. Now if the contact angle is 0 degree, if the contact angle is 0 degree, what is the shape of the meniscus? Is the shape of the meniscus convex upwards or is it straight? Namaste, namaste. Now listen to the question one more time. My question is that in a capillary tube you have put some water. The contact angle is 0 degree. What will be the shape of the meniscus? Will it be straight or will it be convex upwards? So nice. So interesting. So intelligent. तो मेरे प्यारे बच्चों, none of the option is correct. Now this is a very interesting concept and I am sure you will love this. You must know what is the meaning of contact angle. The contact angle is that angle where a fluid makes a contact with the solid body. Now, if I say that the contact angle is 0 degree, this cannot be the form of the meniscus, because here the fluid comes in contact with the solid at 90 degree. So many students give the answer that the meniscus would go straight, which is not the case. So this is not the answer. So what is the shape of the meniscus? So what you do is, in order to make the contact angle 0 degree, this should be the meniscus. This. Now here the contact angle, the fluid comes in contact with the solid and make an angle 0 degree. Now this is the shape of the meniscus, and this shape is semicircle. So when the contact angle is 0 degree, in case of clean water, the shape of the meniscus is semicircle. What is workable? I gave so many advices, I forgot that which advice of mine has worked in your favor. मेरे प्यारे बच्चों, in the morning, I open up the mail and there are so many mails of the students, and every single day I give so many advices. I believe sometimes I am giving more advices than a doctor and a lawyer combined. So which advice of mine worked for you? But I am happy it worked for you. Which of the following are not the methods for finding the slope and deflection of beams? Double integration, moment area, maculae, conjugate beam method, unit load method. Jimmy, very good, Jimmy. Jimmy. So, bachcho, it is the unit load method. Unit load method is used for trusses, but here they have asked about beams. So, all these methods are applicable on beams, whereas the unit load method is applicable on trusses. Plank is that load which has a 95% probability of not being exceeded during the life of the structure. Which load has a 95% probability that it won't be exceeded during its life? The question is very easy. This is characteristic load. Now my question to you is, through which IS code do we find the value of dead snow or live load? Which IS code recommends the values of various other types of load? Yes, mere bache, have you sent me the paper? Now let me give you a very interesting detail. Yesterday, one of the students has sent me Gujarat Public Service Commission question paper recently held. So I will be solving this question paper in the coming days, most probably tomorrow. And if you have a recent question paper, you can share it with me on my mail ID, which is tamanpreet.c@kgs.life. This is IS 875. And we have made a code for this, which is Divas. So dead load is part first, imposed load is part second, wind load is part third, and snow load is part fourth. Part fifth is the combination of these loadings. You have mailed me. Definitely I will be checking it. So मेरे प्यारे बच्चों, characteristic load and design load, you must know the difference between the two. What is the shear force for given figure of a cantilever beam and loading? What is the shear force? Yes. Bacho, this beam is under pure bending. So, bending moment is constant, but no shear force is induced. Zero shear force. Okay, if I ask you that among these options, which represent the bending moment diagram? So what should be the answer? If I ask you in the given options, which represent the bending moment diagram, what would you say? Yes, minus M, because the beam hogs. That's why. What is the Poisson's ratio? Oh, so easy question. What is the Poisson's ratio? So this is a very simple statement. Poisson's ratio is minus of lateral upon longitudinal strain. Lateral upon longitudinal. But for mild steel, can you tell me, is G is greater than K or is K is greater than G? For mild steel, between bulk modulus and modulus of rigidity, which parameter is greater? Now, in order to solve this question, first of all, you must know the value of Poisson's ratio for mild steel. Can anyone tell me what is the value of Poisson's ratio for mild steel? The value is 0.3. Now, E is 2G 1 plus mu, but E is also equals to 3K 1 minus 2 mu. So 2G mu is 0.3, 3K 1 minus 2 mu. This is 0. So 2.6 G is equals to 1.2 K. So K is 2.6 upon 1.2 G. Now you can clearly see that this ratio is greater than 1. It implies K is greater than G for mild steel. So this relation is valid for mild steel, and as you can see, E is greater than both of these terms. So for mild steel, Young's modulus is greater than bulk modulus, which is greater than modulus of rigidity. So this question is very interesting in fact. But which material has zero Poisson's ratio? Which material has zero Poisson's ratio? I'll give you a geotech question on the spot, my boy. For richer mixes, Poisson's ratio, the value of Poisson's ratio increases. This is cork. So what happens to cork is when you apply the load, the longitudinal strain occurs, but there is no lateral strain. So in case of cork, when you apply a tensile load, the length of the cork will increase without any change in the lateral dimension. Now, this has a very unique purpose in case of the bottles of champagne. So, what happens in champagne is you seal the bottles of champagne with cork. Now, the external and internal pressure is applied on this cork. So, the cork compresses. Now, if the cork compresses or if a material compresses, its lateral dimension should expand. Now, this may lead to the breakage of the bottle. But in case of cork, when the longitudinal dimension changes, there is no change in the lateral dimension. Now, this keeps the bottle intact. So, this is the reason cork, which has a zero Poisson's ratio, is used to seal bottles. Pyare bachcho, if you get this concept, then please write yes. Very good. Now, one of the student has asked for a geotechnical question. Let me give you one geotechnical question. There is this soil, there is this clay, which has a void ratio of 1. Degree of saturation 75%. At this void ratio 1, the water content is 10%. Now I have increased the degree of saturation to 95%. What will be the water content? So there is a soil with a void ratio 1. Its degree of saturation is 75% and water content is 10%. Now I have increased the degree of saturation to 95%. What will be the water content? So प्यारे बच्चों, you will say, sir, SE is equals to WG. Now, if I draw the diagram up to shrinkage limit, you know this that before the shrinkage limit, the soil is partially saturated. So if we increase the degree of saturation from 75 to 95%, we have increased the water content without changing the void ratio. So void ratio remains the same and so does the specific gravity. So S is proportional to W. So S1 upon S2 is W1 upon W2. So degree of saturation is 75. Water content is 10. Now it is changed to 95. What is the water content? This is the question. So all we need to do is solve this simple calculation which you have already done. So 95 by 75. 12.67. So water content is 12.67%. Now, this is the value of Poisson's ratio for certain materials. Make sure you know this value because frequently the Poisson's ratio value for certain material is asked. Reynolds number is more than 2000, then the flow is called what? Ki gal hui. Flow can be called transitional and flow can be called. Okay. Okay, now what is the answer? Now, this is a very interesting question. No, 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 no. Now, let me create some controversy. Now, bacho, we know this that if the Reynolds number is greater than 2000 but less than 4000, the flow is transitional. But if the Reynolds number is more than 4000, the flow is turbulent. So answer can be turbulent and answer can be transitional. But they have not said that in pipe or in an open channel. Because for certain we know this, in open channel, if the Reynolds number is greater than 2000, then it has to be turbulent flow. Because in open channel, if the value of Reynolds number remain between 500 to 2000, it is transitional. Less than 500 is laminar. So they have not said that this is a pipe. So why have you already assumed it? So now if we use some very interesting concepts, then for the given question, the most appropriate answer is turbulent. Because now if we need to select one answer, two answers cannot be done here. We need to mark only one answer, then answer should be turbulent. We will assume that they are talking about the open channel. For pipe, option A and option B, both could be correct. But this is an MCQ, only one option need to be selected. Then we will go with open channel, because for open channel, if the Reynolds number is greater than 2000, it has to be turbulent. आया मजा? Good question. मेरे प्यारे बच्चे, we should not go with none of these because, as I said, the answer can be turbulent because they have not mentioned that what type of conduit is this. And this question is asked in competitive exams and the option marked is option A only. Don't go with option D, mere bachcho. I am already explaining this, that the answer is option A because it is not mentioned in the question that which type of conduit is this. What is a conduit? Conduit is a passage through which a fluid moves. So pipe is a conduit, open channel is a conduit. They have not mentioned the type of conduit. You assumed it that the conduit is pipe. Eventually it is not. Now let's say if the option transitional was not there, then you can say the answer is option A. If turbulent was not there, again you can say the answer is option A. But both the parameters, when both the options are given and it is not mentioned the type of conduit, assume it to be open channel and then give the answer. Once you assume it to be an open channel, then you are 100% sure it has to be turbulent. Oh, which of the following Indian standard codes conservatively imposed loads for building? So this is IS 87 part 2. मेरे प्यारे बच्चों, you must have heard that shrinkage ratio is V1 minus VD divided by VD divided by W1 minus WS. But this shrinkage ratio has another expression. That expression is gamma W in the denominator, and there is a term in numerator and denominator. Can you tell me what comes in the numerator and denominator? Gamma d by gamma w. Very good. Now gamma d is weight of solids. Weight of solids divided by Vd. Now, do you want me to derive this equation? Should I derive that from how? How from this value we got this value? Because if you already know the explanation, then we will move to the next question. And if you are not aware that how do we conclude the second formula, then I will derive it. Now, मेरे प्यारे बच्चों, you are about to learn something very, very interesting. And once it's like when we learn something new, and trust me, you will be learning something new, as you are not aware that how we deduce this formula from this. So 100% in next 5 minutes, you will be learning something very new. And once we learn something new, we should cheer it. So once you get the concept, I want you to use as many emojis possible in the comment section if you get the concept. If you do not understand, then there is no need to write anything. Because the concept that I am just telling you, I believe you will love this. So, pyare bachcho, we know this. This is the expression. So, let's say this is the water content W1. This is the shrinkage limit. At shrinkage limit, the volume is Vd, dry volume, and the volume at W1 is V1. Now my question was that how you deduce the second expression of shrinkage ratio. In order to derive that equation, first you must know that what is the equation of this straight line. So let's say I say this point is option C. We know that at point C, the soil is 100% saturated. Okay. Now, we know that S is equals to W into G for any point at or beyond C. For any point at or beyond C. We know this, that the value of S is 100%. You know this concept. At all the consistency limits, the soil is fully saturated. So E is equals to WG. Now what is the expression of E? E is volume of void by volume of solid. Now this is equals to WG. Now volume of void is total volume minus the volume of solid divided by Vs is equals to W into G. Now cross multiply V minus Vs is WG into Vs. Rearrange this. So V is equals to G into Vs in bracket then multiplied by W plus volume of solid. Now what we have done is beyond point C, C point ke pare, beyond point C, we came to know that the change in volume and water content follows a linear pattern, because if you compare this equation resembles a straight line. So if I put volume at y-axis, water content at x-axis, so what I get is, I get a linear variation. First thing that we can deduce is that how you come to know this, that beyond shrinkage limit, the volume varies linearly. We know that the volume varies, but why linearly? It could be parabolic or any other variation. So if someone asks you this, you would be saying that we have derived it that beyond point C, the volume and water content varies linearly through this equation. Now this is the first thing. So because of this equation, you are able to put a straight line beyond point C. So volumetric change after the water content is linear. First tell me, are you able to grasp this point? Very good. Now मेरे बच्चों, this GVS, this is the slope of the straight line. So the slope of this straight line is G multiplied by simple mathematics. Now the expression for shrinkage ratio was V1 minus VD divided by VD divided by W1 minus W. We know this, that tan theta is slope. This is perpendicular upon base. So this value is perpendicular. V1 is this entire value and VD is this value. So if I ask you what is the perpendicular, you will say V1 minus VD. In the same way, if I ask you what is the value of the base, you will say, sir, W1 minus WS. W1 minus WS. This is the slope of this line. Simple mathematics. But we have already proved that the slope of this line is equals to GVS. This we have proved here. Now V1 minus VD upon W1 minus WS. So we can write down what? G times Vs upon Vd. But we know that G is Ws upon Vs gamma W. So GVS is Ws upon gamma W. Now put this value, shrinkage ratio, in place of GVS, write down Ws upon gamma W. The term Vd is here. Now weight of solids upon dry volume is gamma D upon W. So this formula is transformed into this formula using this mathematics. Now if you actually got the concept, then show me some love. Good evening, Raminda. And first, let me get some compliments. Then I will tell you one more interesting. The one thing that I want to say is this: I derived myself. To be very honest with you, I have never taken any type of coaching or assistance from anyone. Internet and standard books. This is all I have ever referred to. So there was a time when I was studying geotechnical engineering and I was wondering that why the volume varies linearly after the shrinkage limit. I was pondering over this question. Why? There must be some mathematical derivations. Not every time you are able to derive the mathematical equations. There are so many concepts in civil engineering where at the end of the day, you need to cram, ratna padta hai. But in this case, I was fortunate enough that I was trying to solve it, that from where we can get this relationship, and then subsequently I did it. Like, I really feel so great. This derivation, I love this derivation. I deduce it myself. Thank you. Now, just tell me one more thing. Let's see how much have you learned. Now, if I put this equation back, can you tell me what is the value of this intercept? Goat. नहीं नहीं. Very good. This also you can deduce from this equation. Y is equals to mx plus c. This c is the intercept on y-axis. Means if you extend the line up to the y-axis, where it would cut the y-axis. So where it will cut the y-axis? At Vs. So this value is. And this is what I always say to you, my dear bacho, that you need to learn the concept. It is very much possible that this derivation, you may not need it in your competitive exam, but once you get these type of concepts, you get the confidence. And trust me, competitive exams and life is all about confidence. And confidence comes from knowledge. Knowledge comes from hard work. Chalo, moving on to the next question. What is the SI unit of specific gravity? What is the SI unit of specific gravity? Right, there is no unit of specific gravity. Density upon density, unit weight upon unit weight, there is no unit. According to IS code, for footing on piles, the thickness at the edge shall not be less than what? Now, this type of question, this is all code based. If you have read the code, then you can answer it within 10 seconds. The value is 300 mm. Pyare masoom bachcho, you also know this, that RRB has just announced the date of CBT2, and very soon we will be launching specific classes for RRB CBT2 on YouTube, as we have done with UPSSC and SSC and so many other examinations. So if you have got your paper 1 clear, then do watch this channel regularly, and eventually, even if you have not secured the exam, you are preparing for some other exam, the technical part more or less remains the same. The ratio of actual discharge from an orifice to the theoretical discharge from the orifice is known as what? Oh, same day RRB and DSSSB. Now, this is not commendable, because it is possible that some students may get selected in both the exams. And what? This is coefficient of discharge. Indian standard specifies blank as the specific temperature for reporting the specific gravity. प्यारे मेरे बच्चों, the answer is definitely Option D. Can you tell me the name of the instrument through which we determine the specific gravity? This is pyknometer. This is pyknometer. But this was not the question. I was really putting effort into. My question is, you are aware with the symbols W1, W2, W3, W4. The numerator is W2 minus W1. In terms of W1, W2, W3, W4, what is the denominator? This is my question. Let's see how many of you know this. In terms of W1, W2, W3, W4. 3 minus 4. Bas. Atom. Gal mukgi. W3 minus W4. That's it. क्या इंजीनियर बनेगा रे तुम? हाँ. Ah. Now I am writing down the denominator. Just check you have written it correctly or not. The denominator is W4 minus W1 minus bracket W3 minus W2. Now I am not saying which one of you have written it correctly or incorrectly. Just check it by yourself. Have you written it correctly? If yes, well and good. If not, then please make sure that you remember the formula correctly, because this question, this specific formula is regularly asked. Now we know that W2 minus W1. Can anyone tell me what is the value of W2 minus W1? What is W2 minus W1, मेरे प्यारे मासूम बच्चों? Good. This is weight of solids. So you can further simplify it. Weight of solids, open the bracket, W4 minus W3. Now open the bracket, this minus minus plus W2 minus W1 means plus W weight of solid. Okay, so please make sure you remember the formula correctly, as many students forgot the formula. Find the delta of the crop if it is said that a particular type of crop requires a depth of 6 centimeter of water every 24 days and the crop period is 168 days. Now this is very easy question. So first of all, find out that how many times you need to water the plants. 24 multiplied by 7, 168. So 7 times you need to do it. And every time 6 centimeter is the depth. So 7 into 6, 42 centimeter. In the limit state method, now this is a very easy question. What is the minimum strain in tensile reinforcement before its failure? Very nice. So based on this formula, can you tell me what is the strain at the time of failure in mild steel. This is the minimum strain, minimum. Oh, sorry, maximum strain at the time of failure. Not maximum, sorry, this is minimum. 1.086? Okay. So you people are saying, sir, the value is 0.001806. Obviously, in case of mild steel, you are not adding this value. Why? Yes, we have a running live batch where I am teaching fluid mechanics. But मेरे बच्चे, जून के पहले हफ्ते में we will be launching a junior engineer foundation batch also. Brand new batch where live classes will be conducted. बहुत बढ़िया. Very nice. Very good. बच्चों, for mild steel, there is a definite yield point. So in those materials where you have a definite yield point, you do not require the concept of proof stress. This is the concept of proof strain. So in case of Fe415 and Fe500, you need to apply the concept of proof strain, but not in case of mild steel. Because in mild steel, through the stress strain curve, the yield point can be determined. Finally, I request one. भैया क्या है ये? SOM class where you want me to conduct the SOM class? मतलब in my early days as a teacher, I used to say my tagline was room mein SOM. So much I love SOM. And to be honest with you, I was among the university toppers in strength of materials. University toppers, not the university topper, among the university topper. At least of my college, I was the topper. And in my days, there were very few civil engineering colleges in Uttar Pradesh. Chalo ji, chaliye hun kiddar nu. So let's solve this one. As per the Darcy's law, in saturated soil, what happens? What is happening in Darcy law? Rate of flow per unit time is proportional to total cross-sectional area. Rate of proportional to height of capillary rise proportional to atmospheric pressure. Ah, very good. Very good. My question to you is, almost everyone among you said that option A is incorrect. But Darcy law state that discharge is proportional to area. So why are you saying this, that option A is incorrect? Because मैं होशियार हूं ना, मतलब मैं होशियार हूं यार. ऐसा नहीं है, मतलब आई आई क्या बोलूं यार, क्या आई हैव good I say learning skills. My learning skills are Darcy law is applicable when the flow is laminar. It is applicable in coarse grained soils also. It is applicable in fine grained soils also. But the flow has to be laminar, Reynolds number has to be less than 1, flow has to be steady, soil has to be saturated. Na mere bache. So I can get this point that you people must be thinking, sir, that only one option can be correct, and in this case, either we should go with option A or B. But no, both the options are equally correct, because discharge is proportional to total area and discharge is proportional to hydraulic gradient. So both the options are equally correct. So we cannot say that one option supersede the others, one option is better than the other option. No, both the options A and B are equally correct. Both are equally correct. This is the statement of Darcy law. Now, one of the student asked that, sir, is it the Darcy law is applicable on coarse grained soil or is it applicable on fine grained soil? Can anyone give me an example that it is applicable on both of the soils? There is a certain way that you can explain that Darcy law is as much applicable to coarse grained as it is applicable to fine grained. Can you give the reason? Oh, bhai sahab. Okay, ये तो पेट है ना, यूपी ट्रिपल एस सी. Now I give you a very simple example. प्यारे मेरे बच्चों, in constant head method, you apply Q is equals to KIA, and through this you deduce the formula VL upon THA. In the same way, for falling head, again you apply Q is equals to KIA, and you put this KIA equals to minus a dH by dt. In both the cases, even in falling head where the soil is fine grained and in constant head where the soil is coarse grained, in both the cases you apply Darcy law. So Darcy law is applicable on both the soil. The important thing is it must follow these points. Flow should be steady, soil should be saturated, flow should be laminar, and soil and water should be incompressible. समझ आई बात? Chalo, let's solve last question. When the soil mass is saturated, its bulk density is called what? मेरे प्यारे बच्चे, we are launching JE Foundation Batch very soon. In fact, in the first week of June. और उस बैच को इसी तरीके से बनाया है that it will help in all the technical exams, either in national level or in state level. This is known as saturated density. तो मेरे प्यारे बच्चों, it's been 55 minutes. Trust me. I was not aware that I have been teaching you for last 55 minutes. You people have such a pleasing personality with you. There is no hold on time. Time bhaga. बच्चे टेक्निकल सिलेबस मोर और लेस इज सेम, वो सेम ही रहता है. तो वो फाउंडेशन बैच इसी तरीके से बनाया है कि आप किसी भी स्टेट या सेंटर पे जेई की तैयारी करो, टेक्निकल सिलेबस सबका बनाया इस तरीके से, वो सेम है. So either you are preparing for JKSSB or Madhya Pradesh or Karnataka, that one batch will help you. चलो ठीक है बच्चों, तो अब हम मिलेंगे नेक्स्ट सेशन में. नाउ आई विल सी यू टुमारो एट 11 a.m. same channel, and I hope you have learned something new in today's session, and this is what the purpose is. चलिए मिलते हैं नेक्स्ट सेशन में. टिल देन डू टेक केयर. गॉड ब्लेस यू. थैंक यू.